Hi students, today again I will take a class of class 6 computer. This is the second class I am taking. Last class I have started the chapter 1 types of computer, and I have explained the different types of computer that are available in the market regarding the data they access and the size of the computers. So I think everyone has read the chapter till page number 12 as I have given the work to you. Now I will continue from page number 12, that is computer language. Basically, computer has two languages, low level language and high level language. Again, the low level language is has two types, that is the machine language and the assembly language, and the high level language also has two different types. In the first type it is coming the basic COBOL, C, C++, Java, etc., and the next one is the fourth generation language, that is 4GL. Now for computer languages we have certain terms we use whenever we are talking about computer language. Computer language basically makes a programming in sense of certain instructions we give the computer so that they can perform certain processes, certain work upon those inputs that we give, and certain outputs they give us that we need. Now, the grammar or the language that the computer understand, the writing of any program, the grammar of any program is called the syntax of the language, and the statement formed after these grammars are written one after another, we get the statement, and a set of related statement makes a program. Now we will first start with the machine language. Now computer understand only two things, that is 0 and 1. These two are called the binary codes. When the computer gets the signal of 0, they understand that it is a off state. That means no signal is there. And when it gets the signal 1, that means it is the on state or presence of signal is there. The instruction written in this code 0 and 1 is called the machine language, and it is first programming language developed. Programs written in machine language are executed very fast as they need no translation for the computers. But it has disadvantages too, like it is difficult to learn as so many codes are there and we can't remember so many codes at the same time. Next is it requires the programmer to remember the memory location where we have saved the different parts of the program. It is also very difficult to find any error in the program when millions of lines are there. A program written in machine language is also specific to one computer. The program written in one computer cannot be run in another computer. So it is called the machine dependent language. Now next is the assembly language. In the assembly language we can overcome certain points, certain drawbacks, or we can overcome certain points of the machine language, but certain drawbacks are still also there in assembly language. But assembly language is much more understandable by the common user. It uses some alphanumeric code or symbol instead of 0 and 1. These codes are called the mnemonic code, and this can use up to 5 letters. In machine language we can use only 0, 1, 1, and here in the assembly language we can use the 5-letter words. Suppose for addition we can use ADD, add. For subtraction we can use SUB, sub. So it is very easier to learn the assembly language rather than the machine language. Now this assembly language are rather easy to locate the error. If any error is there, we can easily locate the error and we can change the program if required. Now the programs written in assembly language need to be translated to machine language before they are executed, as the computer only understands 0 and 1. So we have to convert our assembly language program into machine language program. For this purpose, language translators or processors were developed, and assembler was developed to translate the assembly language to machine code. Now I always told you there are certain drawbacks in assembly language too. It is also a machine dependent language, and the programmer also needs to understand the hardware. What are the hardware used in the computer? According to that, the machine level language can only be used. Both this machine level language and assembly language are together called the low level language, as they are very close to the computer hardware. Now coming to the high level language. Now this high level language is developed first with the third generation language, that is the 3GL, as they were developed during the period of computer development. This 3GL rather are very user friendly. This language use the English phrases for command, and which makes it easier to read and write by the users. And if we find any error during execution, we can easily correct those errors and again execute the program. Now the different types of high level language, or rather 3GL, are underlined page number 14, the third paragraph of high level language, that is Photon, formula translation, COBOL, common business oriented language, basic beginners all purpose standard instruction code, C, C++, Java, Python, etc. These are all the examples of high level language that are included upon 3GL. Now these programs written in high level language need to be translated in the machine language by using some translator like the interpreters and the compilers. Now coming to what are interpreters and compilers. These are the very important part of this chapter. Now what are interpreters? Interpreters convert the high level programs into machine level language line by line. It checks the code for error. If any error is found in any line, then that execution is stopped and the error is corrected, and then again the execution is started. This thing is repeated for all the statements. The translated program is not stored in the memory, and thus the process is repeated each time as we run the program. This is also result in less usage of memory. For example, basic use an interpreter. Now coming to the compiler. When the compiler also translate a high level language into machine language, it translates the whole program in one go and saves the machine code inside the computer memory. It displays all the error at the end of executing the program. The program can be executed once if the error is free. The execution is fast as the machine code is saved inside the computer memory and is not generated every time the program we run. Now, example of this compiled language are C, C++, COBOL, etc. So this interpreter and compiler difference between can come in the exam for this topic. Now coming to the fourth generation language. Now this fourth generation language is designed very close to the human language, or the language we rather speak upon. Now this 4GL, fourth generation language, is nearest to the human language, and this is very user friendly. This language is used for accessing the database, and this language also takes very less time in designing, and also makes the effort less in program development. Now the example of this 4GL are SQL, Minties and Ruby, etc. So now this 3GL and this 4GL differentiate between can come from this topic also. So everyone, please learn interpreter, compiler, 3GL and 4GL very clearly in the form of points. Now everyone, please turn to page 14 and 15 and underline the two fact sheet. In page number 14, we have the first computer programmer was Lady Ada Lovelace. That is very important. Question can come from this first fact. And next one, page 15, we have the first high level language was Photon, invented in the year 1954 by IBM John Backus. So question can come from this part also. So this chapter is almost done. So very clearly I am telling, learn the chapter, read the chapter thoroughly, at least for 4 and 5 times. The points I mentioned, learn those points, make the differentiate between the interpreter, compiler, the third generation language, the fourth generation language, and also the different types of computer that we get in the market on the basis of data they access and the size of the computer. These things are very important, so learn these things very clearly. And in the next part of the next class, I will rather give you the question answer and the book exercise. So everyone, read the chapter thoroughly by that time, and then whenever you are getting the book exercise, do it in the book, learn the book exercise and the question answer, write it in the CW copy. After that, learn them very clearly. Before writing the CW copy in the question answer, everyone will write the let's recap that we got in the page number 16. The let's recap that we get in page number 16, write it in the CW copy, then write the question answer that I will give you. So by that time, read the chapter thoroughly, read the points that I mentioned, and also learn the things I told you to learn point wise. Okay, by that time, bye bye.